And what I'd like to do is just really open up the floor to you guys. You know, if somebody wants to kick off and just share, the way I'd like to do this is, you know, share where you're experiencing pain. And I'm here to just kind of listen and respond gently, and then offer up perhaps a more general dossier that could be helpful for the whole group. And then again, if you feel like you're requiring a little bit more customized assistance, then we can always set up some time to talk. And, you know, I'll give you some ways that we can connect, and you can get a more customized program. But I just wanted to offer out some kind of, you know, basic advice so you can get off the call today and apply it and hopefully experience some relief. So anybody that wants to jump in, I know I've spoken to a few of you guys offline, which is cool. But yeah, anyone that wants to kick off, just unmute yourself and rock and roll.
I'll start.
Hey, Suzanne, I love. What's up?
Hi. Hi. Well, what's up or what's down?
I know. I'm so glad that it was like perfect timing that you got that I got your message, and then I was like, hop on the call. So it's like perfect.
I know. No, it's totally perfect because I mean, you know the history a little bit now, and the last time we were talking, we were talking about how, oh yeah, my left knee hurts a little bit, and then, you know, I already have some general pain in my back and tingling in my feet. But just in the last, like, I would say the last 2 days, very slowly, and maybe it was the intensity of the weekend, sitting in easy pose and doing this morning sadhana where we do the bowing jop. I was starting to feel a little bit more, even with the modifications that we were doing. So I kind of stopped doing bowing jop. Like maybe I'll do it for 3 minutes and then just sort of black out, you know, like, because I think it just keeps aggravating it. And so Sakriya doesn't usually bother me, but this morning, like it started with the sadhana. So I didn't, you know, I really wasn't on it very long. And then when I was teaching the class, so I didn't really even, you know, completely pay attention to this, but as I was teaching my class, just simple meditation. First, I just started, you know, I do this thing where I'm like, I can feel it on my right side. So it's my lower right back area. Yeah. And I'm just like moving. And then I can feel that radiating down my leg, right? So I can feel that my knee, and it actually, I keep looking to see if it's just in my head, but the tip of my knee right here, this tip part, and if I push on it, it hurts.
It hurts.
But it on the inside, it was aching, right? So it's like this radiating from that area right through my leg, and I can feel it. Now, if you ask me if it's numb or tingling, I already told you both legs are already doing that. So it's very hard for me to see if there's a difference there.
But now you're experiencing tender to the touch at the top of the patella.
Yeah.
The kneecap.
And then that pain. And so I'm doing it, I'm feeling it, I'm doing this wiggle thing, and then next thing you know, I'm moving, I'm trying to sit in rock pose. It hurt there too. I keep trying to change and adjust, you know, like concentrate on the navel, lift up, because usually if I just move my posture, the pain will move, but like there wasn't anything I could do besides maybe sitting in a chair, which I couldn't at that moment because I was leading a class and the camera and the thingy and the whatever. So I tried to like stretch, I tried to do other things, you know, but so what I have done though, since then I'm sitting here, I'm sitting up straight, and I took 3 Advils. So right now at this particular moment,
you're feeling good. Okay, well,
I'm feeling better.
I'd like to offer a couple of things. Well, I've been feeling into your energy pretty specifically since we talked like probably 2 weeks ago. And I'm still feeling like hydration gets to be a thing for you. And I would love to share that out with the group. Yeah, good. So whatever you're doing right now.
I just got it. It just came.
I know you messaged like you got it, like a cool supercharged water bottle.
I got it.
I want to recommend perhaps putting some cucumber slices in your water because it's going to provide even more additional hydration. And then you can also crystallize your water. So personally, I like to use selenite, and I'll just put my water bottle on a selenite. I have like a selenite, like charging. I use it as my charging station for my other crystals, but I'll put my water on that overnight if I feel like I'm extra dehydrated, and it just kind of like will, draw into and amplify the effects of the water. I mean, water is so pure in and of itself, but
selenite, like base. It's like,
yeah, I won't get into like, this isn't going to be about like what's in our water and what are we missing from our water and what, mineral content or whatever. But I feel like crystals like selenite just help to magnify whatever minerals are in the water. And certainly having your own water bottle and not, something that's not like something that's glass and not like, Poland Spring plastic is helpful. And then add cucumbers, because cucumbers have, of course, some nutritional value, which is awesome. But cucumbers have this amazing job on the planet of it's like, I think of cucumbers as like, is like the collagen injection in your lips. You know what I mean? Like it just plumps water up.
Right.
So if you're drinking it infused with cucumber, it's just going to get into your bloodstream a little bit more quickly and a little bit more fully and give you more hydration. And guys, like for everyone, if you're feeling like thirsty, you're already dehydrated. I'm sure you've heard that before, but I put myself into a massive gut check, because sometimes during the week, I'm like, especially if I'm talking a lot, I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty. And I'm like, oh, and the cool thing about water is you can make up the difference. You can make up the difference. So if you're like, oh, I'm noticing I'm feeling thirsty, I'm already dehydrated, you can just, pound down as much as you can handle. And I, again, personally find that with a cucumber in it, or sometimes I'll just doctor it up with other things that I find taste good, like mint leaves I like to do in the summer, or I'll throw some, lemon in there. It's great. And then one other thing about the water, Suzanne, specifically, is in the mornings when you get up to do sadhana. I know it's crazy early for us, but if you allow yourself like 5 extra minutes and just boil some water, put some lemon in it, and drink a mug of hot lemon water first. Again, like the analogy I use is like that it's like running your organs through a dishwasher, right? Like you put your dishes in the dishwasher, it's like hot soapy water gets your dishes clean. Well, in the morning, like you've had a lot of cellular activity throughout the night, and a lot of us who are just mystical and we're very busy at night, we have a lot of astral travel that we're doing. So our bodies are, even though we're sleeping, we're really, we're probably doing a lot of major work throughout the evening in the nighttime hours. So in the morning, a hot cup of lemon water, just like wash those organs, get a little cleanse, because sadhana is so beautiful. But perhaps Suzanne, and again, anybody else, you're going into these pretty heavy postures. And if you have some residual kind of toxins, or like a little bit of lactic acid, you're going to feel even more fatigued and perhaps exacerbate pain. It might be a little inflamed. So that hot lemon water is just going to help kind of.
Yeah.
Like imagine you ran a marathon, right? If you ran a marathon and then you went right into rock pose right after, like it would suck. It would suck. It would not feel good. So if you're very kind of noticing that you do a lot of astral travel throughout the night, it's like you're running that marathon and then you get up to do sadhana and you're getting right into rock pose. Your joints are like, ooh. So if you can give yourself that extra 5 minutes and get that hot lemon water in, and even if you can't do that, just get your cucumber infused water. But I find that hot water in the morning is incredibly medicinal. And then, you start to just ease into the joints. And specifically, again, for you, Suzanne, I would say, so Suzanne has had, she's experiencing some significant nerve pain. There's likely some compression on her, lumbar spine and in her lower spine in those vertebra. And it's placing some pressure on really powerful nerves that shunt down through the hips, and that's why it's causing some leg pain on both sides for her. And then she's got some more acute things happening. So the patella, you know, without taking a real hard look at you, I would say that that could also just be related to when you sit in easy pose, you're crossing one leg over the other. If it's possible for you to switch that. So in other words, if you're normally seated with like the left leg folded in and then the right leg underneath the left leg, if it's possible that you can switch and do it the other way. Because when you sit in easy pose, like you can see, I have very tight hips. I have very tight hips. So easy pose is not necessarily easy for me. So when you have tightness in your hips and you sit in easy pose, your lumbar spine and your hips are actually not centered. Even if you're very flexible and you can sit in full lotus, you're still gonna have one hip higher than the other because of the way your ankles are. So even just the slightest tilt could really create much more of that compression that you're experiencing. So for you, because you have it on the right side, if you're positioned where you've got your left hip higher and your right hip lower, and you've already putting that pressure on what's already compressed, it's gonna make it even worse. So if you can just switch, and throughout your practice, especially when you're teaching, if you can just alternate, you know, every so often, so that way you're kind of balancing out. So that would just be like a little adjustment I would offer for you. And then I know we said it already, but yeah, like let cobra and squats be a very good friend to you right now, because we've got to activate. So what we want to do, if we're experiencing, like Suzanne, if we're experiencing any kind of lower back pain from sitting in easy pose, rock pose, bowing josai, where you've got literally the lumbar spine in this kind of curved position, when the lumbar spine should actually be in this beautiful S inward position called lordosis, but we're kind of getting this bulging out. Does that make sense to everybody, right? I'm using my hands as so when we're slouching, when we're sitting on Zoom, when we're sitting all day long, and then we're going into easy pose and we're sitting through all these postures and these meditations, and we're finding ourselves slouching, and we're not engaging, we're not activating the power that is in our glutes, our butt muscles. Now, your tushy, the sole purpose of your glute muscles is to create hip extension. So anytime we extend the hips, we have to squeeze the butt. When we extend the hips, what happens? We create that natural, beautiful lordosis of the spine. So this would be an optimal human position, right? Optimal for bipedal motion, right? This is ideal. So we've got to get these butt muscles engaged, and if you're feeling like any kind of pain here, a go-to is be activating those hips. So squats, and again, if you're experiencing knee pain like Suzanne, you can modify the squats. You don't have to go so low. You don't have to do a Kundalini squat. You can just simply get, so a good gauge, you know, if we're doing squats therapeutically, what I offer to clients is you want to just simply create a parallel line between your torso and your tibia. So, right, so if you're here, you're not engaging with the glutes maximally, because you're literally putting more pressure on your knees, right? So my torso is not parallel with my tibia, my shin bone. And if you're here, same thing. You're actually taking your butt muscles right out of the equation. So even if you're here, right, I'm not getting that low, but my shins are parallel with my torso. So I'm getting this nice glute activation. And you'll feel it. If you practice this, you will feel, when you turn that butt on, you will feel that. And then you can just play around with how low you can get. And you want to really be able to sit back and really, really drive through the heels. And as you come up, see, squatting isn't about going down. It doesn't matter. Squatting is about standing up. So as you stand up, you really want to squeeze your tushy muscles and push the hips forward. So you're creating that hip extension. So I have clients that can't really bend at all right now, and I just have them practice squeezing their butt and pushing their hips forward a little bit. And if you're sitting on like a Zoom call for a while and you just feel like you're starting to get like that dead ache down your legs, Suzanne, especially for you, even just to stand up for a couple minutes and just do a couple of butt squeezes, just because we want to turn on that musculature and remind the hips that they can fully extend, and it takes that pressure off the lower back. So just hopefully a couple of helpful nuggets. Cool. All right. Who else? Yeah, you bet, Suzanne.
I'd love to go.
Hit it, sister.
All right. So I have had, you know, I use my right hand for my phone, and I'm fortunately not on too many Zoom calls, but I'm on my phone way more than ever, right? As most of us are. And I think, so I feel like my wrist, my thumb, it is now creeping, you know, into here. I had my friend who's a PA. She like touched my elbow and did some stuff. She's like, it's almost like tennis elbow, but it's now into my shoulder, into my neck. And now I'm feeling it in my hip, and it's only my right side. Like my left side, Diane, my left side feels like I almost don't feel anything, if that makes sense. But my right side is so pissed off, and I don't know what to do.
And Lauren, are you experiencing this like all day? Are you having these pains on your right side at this point? Or is there anything that you notice you're doing besides obviously holding the phone that you're like, are you feeling more acute pain on and off throughout the day? Or is this more like a chronic dull ache all day long?
It's been more chronic, like over the last couple weeks. And I'm wondering, is it my mattress? Like, you know, is it how I'm sleeping? Maybe it's not just the cell phone, but it's pretty much been straight for a couple weeks now. And I mean, I feel it like in my shoulder. It's like it's like a pinpoint on the, like on the very tip of the, you know, of my shoulder blade almost. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe I need to have a private session with you, Diane, but it's like, oof, just all in here.
And when you say your hand is bothering you and your thumb, are you feeling, what is the sensation that you're feeling? Is it like a knife pain, throbbing, numbness, tingling, all the above?
It's like muscle soreness in my thumb, like thumb pad, forearm, like this feels perpetually sore right here.
Tender
like
to
a muscle.
Touch.
Yes. Yeah. But it feels good to massage.
Massage it. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you're not touching it, you still feel pain though. You're aware that it's okay.
It's a little achy. Yeah.
And then you're noticing your right hip is bothering you as well. Same thing, dull ache, chronic, kind of all day long kind of a thing. Worse at night?
Not that I have noticed, but I could pay more. I'll pay attention. I love that pain.
Yeah. I would definitely offer you the opportunity to run like a 24-hour like self-experiment and just really tune into the actual body sensation that you're feeling in these areas. Okay. And if and when you notice that they're worse.
Okay.
And then even when, and if you do notice that they're worse at any specific time of day, I want you to just jot it down. And then I want you to go one step before that and ask yourself, what was I doing?
Okay. So
in other
helpful.
Words, you go to sit down perhaps in the evening and you're like, all of a sudden you just feel throbbing. And then you go, okay, what was I just doing? Oh, I was whisking eggs or what, whatever it was. Okay. Like just notice that like one step before and just kind of journal out. You can be on your phone, but just run a 24-hour self-experiment and start to then see, and this is super, I love doing this. So any of you guys, like pay attention inside now. It's really helpful to just kind of run that 24-hour scan And then you see, okay, what's the pattern?
Yes.
Because once you know the pattern, see, in physiology, again, it's totally like, it is like Indiana Jones. And now you've got your treasure map, right? Now you've got the actual map. Now you've got some clues. So now you've got something to work with. Like, oh, interesting. I noticed now, okay, every day at 5 o'clock, I sit down and I notice that my right hip is killing me. What was I doing right before that? I was driving the kids to and from soccer practice. Interesting. Something in the car, and you can go to the car and it's like, well, what is it in the car? Is it the way that I'm seated? Is it something I'm doing? And, you know, we start to get in and detect where our body is not being best supported, and we can go and support it better. Now, as far as your mattress, are you sleeping on your side or are you sleeping on your back?
I generally sleep on my side.
On the right side or the left side?
I usually start on my left side.
Yeah, okay. So that's what I figured. So when you sleep on your left side, you are creating an angle, right? So you're now on your left side, which means throughout the night, your right shoulder starts to roll over, and we call that internal rotation, right? So now your chest muscles are kind of in this contracted, extra contracted state for however many hours you're sleeping. And your scapula goes into this kind of internally rotated position as well, okay? Now, the other thing that's happening is that your right leg, likely your right knee is kind of flopped, and it's doing the same exact thing to your hip. It's internally rotating your hip. Now, these are all fine until they're not. So if you are also spending your day seated, rolled on the phone like this, internal rotation, and if you are like me and you sit cross-legged, or you're in that easy pose and you're, again, cross-legged, that right hip is getting this extra internal rotation besides just sleeping. So, you know, sleeping is a funny thing because people are like, oh, well, you should sleep on your back. No, that's not actually always true. It really depends on the human. And for you, I would say allow yourself the opportunity for some back sleeping and or some right side sleeping. I would caution a little bit to sleeping on the right side because you're already experiencing some pain and perhaps even some inflammation. So it might be a bit tender to actually put pressure on the left side. So offer your body the little assignment. And the way that you do this, it's actually much easier than you think. You can lay down at night and direct your cells toward a couple of things. And at nighttime, and girls, this is like, again, one of my favorite personal things to do every night. And I share this all the time. Whatever it is that you want to experience, so specifically with regard to how you want your body to feel, every night you set an intention and you give your cells a very specific order, a very specific direction. So at night, I'll say to my cells, I direct you to open up and be so fully receptive to all the abundance and all the prosperity that is there for me. I've been saying that a lot lately. That's like my go-to right now. But you can literally go to bed at night and you can just say, okay, I am sending pink healing light directly into the whole right side of my body. And then I am directing the cells around my elbow to just relax and to just get the blood flowing in there so I can remove that inflammation, whatever compression is happening on the joint. Go to sleep like that. Or you can say, I direct some back sleeping tonight. So wherever my soul goes tonight, I direct my beautiful body to relax in back posture. Right? So you just say that over and over again. Oh, that's so weird. I just updated my account. I had to update my my Zoom the other day, did the same thing. I have the pro plan and then it said to update, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So does that sound like doable? Like self-experiment for 24 hours, see what the patterns are, and feel free to reach out to me. That's totally cool. And then just direct your body towards some back sleeping. I'm not, you know, in any position right now where I'd want to offer you a diagnosis. That's not really what this call is about. So I just do want to, yeah, make certain that I'm not going to tell you what you do or don't have. I don't know.
Right.
But I do believe that you kind of getting to do a little expedition is going to be really, really helpful. Because I think you're going to notice some really interesting patterns. And some of them may be like, once we know them, boom, like that's so easy to turn, even just the sleeping thing. And maybe it's an opportunity to, I was just talking to a couple of people actually about pillows, right? Pillows are like, you know, we should really consider changing our pillows like every 4 to 6 months. Most of us, you know, some of us are like 10 years with the same pillow. I was like teasing my mom the other day because she's like, but I love my pillow. It's like my security blanket. I'm like, that bad boy is like 10 years old. It's time, you know, like it's time.
Yeah, totally.
So we get attached to these things. They're like creature comforts, but they may not necessarily be serving our greatest posture for our greatest expansion, you know? So yeah.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to try all of this. Also, there's a beautiful red cardinal right on the fence right there.
I have to, so cardinals are usually a symbol of like if somebody's passing, like somebody has just died, and the cardinal is a symbol that they're having like relief, that their soul is relief.
Oh, how interesting.
So
wow.
That's really cool, right? That's super cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Lauren, I'll just say one other thing. If you're experiencing very acute pain, nothing like a little bit of ice. If you also feel like around the elbow is inflamed right now, I wouldn't ice it unless you're feeling acute pain and some inflammation. That'll be helpful. 24 hours, again, after that, it becomes obsolete, just to get that inflammation down.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. You're so awesome.
Oh, you are too. Thank you for your energy. Who else? Anyone else want to share some pains that they're experiencing? And I'm bummed. I don't know why Zoom is doing this to me. I'm like, I have the pro account. I feel like the cool corporate exec. And the last time I was on Zoom with a client, it did the same thing. And then I checked my account. I'm like, I paid for the whole year. Why are you telling me I'm running out of time? Anyway, maybe it's just because the universe is telling us what we get to be. Anyone else? And then I'll share, perhaps if you want to, well, I'll share with you, I just started a Patreon page, which I'm excited about. And I felt like I can offer, you know, these kinds of trainings in little bite sizes. So if you want to hop on that, I'll share the link. And if you want to reach out to me directly, maybe we can set up like a check-in, or, you know, what would feel aligned in terms of how I could best support you. So who else? Anyone else want to share? I know somebody on AWLS was asking about patellofemoral syndrome, which I can go over a little bit.
Well, I'm not shy. I'd love to go.
Sure. Who is that?
Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea. Hi. Thank you so much for being here.
What's up? And thanks for that little, I was having so many technical difficulties. I was like, it's just a Zoom meeting. Get yourself in there.
Yeah, Zoom is clearly on its own, right? Yeah.
So lower back, I feel like my whole lower back and my hips are like this. And then the tops of my thighs and my hamstrings is like, it's like all one piece. It's so tight. And that recent back injury that I had, just that one cleared up. And then immediately the same day that I had an adjustment and a massage, just switched right to the left side. I mean, it was within an hour, and just having the same exact spot. I have a history of, especially this last year, January will be 1 year of Kundalini practice for me. And the pattern that I've noticed is I can get about 25, 35 days, and then all of the sudden something that I've moved in my body will manifest as pain, but I can literally feel it move through. And so I feel it's just been this pattern this last year that when I'm moving my body, you know, which I hadn't. So I had 17 years of riding a bicycle, and then my dad bought me a car, and I've ridden my bicycle about 4 times in the last 3 years. And so I feel like that's a major thing that is happening to my body.
And
but
like, are you driving the car a lot right now?
No, maybe like once a day. I mean, I'm not driving a whole bunch. I'm just stopped riding my bicycle, right? So I just feel like that has a lot to do with my body not being in the optimal shape that it used to be.
And so tell me just quickly about your yoga practice right now. Like, how active are you with your yoga practice? Are you doing a morning sadhana? Are you doing a daily yoga? What's your practice like right now?
So I practice with all every morning, and usually 3 or 4 times a week I'll put another something in there, you know, like I'll go to community content or alls, and I'll be doing another something or other.
Okay.
I did hear Guru Jagat say the other day the importance of walking 5 miles a day, and so I'm really trying to put that in my, like, it's like right here, I think like 2 more days and I'll be on that. I just, you know, need to shuffle all the things around to add the new things. So but like, you know, right now I can't, if I'm sitting like this and I put my legs out, I can't flatten them. My knees are up. They can, you know, barely touch my toes.
Yeah, I can totally sense that there's actually, like, I feel like there's like you're like Shakti, like you're wanting to birth something, you're wanting to create something, like something's brewing in you.
Yes.
And like whatever fear is there that like isn't real, like holding you back, it's like forcing you to play small, and your body is like, fuck you, we are not playing small anymore. We want to get out, we want to expand, and we want to contribute in a big way.
Yeah, I can feel all of that.
Yeah, and it's like all in that pelvic cauldron, right? Like, so isn't this exciting? Because you're now like saying, okay, thanks, body. Like, I took the memo. Now I'm going to do something about it. So what do we get to do about it? Again, I could give you probably a very like loose diagnosis, but I'm not comfortable doing that in this kind of a setting.
Sure.
What I will say is what I gave to Suzanne about the squats, like any opportunity you have to activate your glutes is paramount. And you know what? Guru Jagat offering that, I felt she was so spot on with that.
Yeah.
Your body gets to ambulate, and however that looks for every human is different. That's why I say ambulate. So it could be walking, it could be running, it could be strolling, it could be meandering, but whatever it is that you are accruing about 5 miles of actual, not just movement, but the way that we're intended to move in this beautiful sagittal plane. And we do a lot of sagittal plane work, and we get to be really strong. Sagittal plane means front,